All right, you guys go ahead and speak and let's just make sure that there's no echo. And then I'll see if I can fix it. If not, I'll put on some headphones and see if that works. But can you go ahead and fake introduce yourself for like a minute each?
Fake introduce myself for like a minute. Well, my name's Sarah, and no, I'm my name's Darling, guys, and I work with Africa in real life, and I hope I don't have an echo right now. And that's all I got, I guess. That's where I puttered out. I feel like that's enough for a minute intro.
All right, and then hold on. Let's just make sure that if there's an echo, it's both of you so we can see.
Sounds great. Hi, everyone. Hilda here. Second stream. Yay. Super excited to join you. A little bit about me. I am currently working as an accessibility project manager at an accessibility auditing company, doing real audits. And yeah, I'm a Latinx woman and I have a bob cut. I recently got a short haircut and I'm wearing a black turtle top. So yeah, that's me. And hopefully you can hear me okay.
Okay, there's still an echo, and I'm gonna try headphones. Kathy Code said, "Hi, Sarah." Kathy said still echoing. Plants and pajamas said, "Happy Thursday, everyone." And Kathy Code said, "Hey, plants." All right, I'm gonna see if I can get on here properly, or maybe I'm gonna need to use. Darn, that's not gonna work either. I think it's that I need to put headphones on, or you guys are just gonna echo and it's gonna suck. So, just give us 1 minute, y'all. Thank you for being so patient. One day I'll learn how to mix my things correctly. All right, this doesn't seem to be working. I'm gonna try my other headphones. Why you no work? All right. Can you say something really fast for me? Anybody?
Yeah, is there still an echo, guys?
All right, let us know if there's still an echo. If this doesn't solve it, then oof. Don't know what to say. It's gonna be
It
a
seems
tough
like
one.
it'll solve it. It must have been your computer, us coming out of your computer and your mic picking that up, right? Actually, I don't know. I don't understand sound mixing.
That is usually how it works for sure. But sometimes all right, it says much better, no echo, don't hear an echo. Thank you guys so much.
Yay.
Woot woot.
All right. I'm standing right now, so I will warn you all that I've been working all day, so I'm definitely gonna have to sit down and you will witness that. But let's talk about what we're doing today, then we're gonna introduce ourselves. One thing that I just realized I never do, and I love that Hulda does it, is she introduces herself and then she explains what she looks like. And I love that because I remember asking Dorlin one day randomly when we were at work, I was like, have I ever told you what I look like? I was like, what picture do you have of me? And I remember we were talking, I brought it up because we were talking about like Erica Baidu at happy hour one day. And I was like, I look like Erica Baidu, Dorlin. She was like, I can see that. That makes sense. So I think today it would be fun if we kind of introduce ourselves and explain what we're wearing and what we look like. I think that would be fun. All right. Otherwise, today what we're doing is we're going to finish off where we left off last week, which was learning about disability standards and laws. Way more interesting than I thought it would be. I'm really excited to finish it and learn some more. We're going to kind of do a review after that, a very, very brief review going through all the things that we've learned. And we're also going to make some Anki cards. So today is not going to be the very big review where we review everything together and we do Anki cards, Quizlets, talk about everything we learned. That will be sometime next week. We're actually probably going to have a live discussion about when we're going to do that, if we can at the end. But that's not today. Today we're just doing a pretty just brief review over everything because we should have enough time to do that, but it won't be too in depth. It'll be super casual and relaxed because I'm tired and yeah. But we'll see how long this one goes today. I'm gonna guess we'll be on for at least an hour because we've never done less than an hour. And I'm gonna go ahead and say that it's probably gonna be an hour and a half unless I run out of steam. And if I keep the steam going and we all feel it in our bones and souls, we'll go for 2 hours. All right, sound good? Illegal fireworks. I feel like this is your first time in the chat, but maybe not because they would have told me, but they said and they put like a little heart emoji. For the new people here, what you'll notice is that I will be explaining everything that's on the screen, and I'll be also reading all the messages in the chat so that everyone can participate, including those who cannot see what's on the screen. So that's why I'll be doing that. All right. So we're going to start with some introductions. I'll go ahead and have Hulda introduce herself first. This is the real one this time.
This is the real one. Okay, so I'll change it up. I'll describe myself and then tell you all about me. Hi everyone. I'm a Latinx woman with a very short bob cut haircut, wearing a turtleneck that is dark. And yeah, in my background, I actually have a plant that is hanging. I love having plants, so I try to get them anytime I go to Home Depot or any plant place. Aside from that, I became aware about web accessibility when I was working for the public sector in the Department of Transportation in New York City, working with a number of community organizations, serving people with disabilities. I became aware about how inaccessible the physical world can be, but also the digital world. And so I went down into a rabbit hole of trying to understand what are assistive technologies, what do they do, and how do they help people with disabilities become independent. Traveling throughout the city, in New York City, which is anywhere around the world, but also navigating the web. And so I became a software engineer last year. And right now I'm working as an accessibility project manager for an auditing company. And I love what I do. So yeah, that's me. Thank you.
All right, Dorlin.
Alrighty, guys. Hey, guys. I'm Dorlin. Let's see. Physical descriptions. I'm a white woman with brown hair that's up in a kind of, I hope, bouncy ponytail today. And I have what I think is a brownish turtleneck on. I like how you called it a turtle top the first time you referred to it, Hulda. It's just a sweater weather kind of day, guys. And I am blind. I've been so for about 10 years now. So I've been using assistive technology. And then I've been interested in web accessibility and coding for a few years now, but I've been working in 508 compliance for the last 6 months. And I have a guide dog named Tank who is also working in 508 compliance, sort of. And that's it.
Love it. All right. If you're in the chat and want to introduce yourself, please feel free as well. We love talking to y'all. I'm Africa, obviously. I'm not really going to do much of an introduction, but I am a Black woman with a ponytail. I have locks. My hair is locked. I'm wearing a gray sweater thing, like an athletic gray zip-up sweater that I like. And I have headphones on, and my mic, me and Dorlin have the same mic. We have like this RBG type thing going on. So that's our very long introduction. Thanks for hanging out with us for that. So let's just get started. Throughout this, you can ask any questions you would like. We'll be kind of asking questions and doing Anki together as well. So if you're here with us and you're actually following along and you're up to date, you can pull up either Quizlet, your written note cards, or your Anki cards to kind of do this part. So let's see where we left off. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to use Hulda's PowerPoint that she so lovely shared with us. Here we are. All right. And let me make this a little smaller so it's not all over the place. Okay. So do you all remember where we left off? Because I'm not going to lie, I slightly remember, but not fully. Let's see. We were like at the end.
Procurement laws, yeah, towards the end of the laws that govern this stuff.
Right. I don't think, did we cover the maturity model?
No. We didn't get to that.
Wait, what is this?
Because we had started to get into, let's see.
This one, is it Regional Instruments on Human and Disability Rights? Yes, because we talked about the Marrakesh Treaty.
Mm-hmm.
And where did we get up to? Charter of the Fundamental Rights of the EU.
Did that.
Article 26 and 21, we did that. African Charter on Human and People Rights, we did that one. National and Provincial Instruments on Disability Rights. Mm-hmm. Did we talk about the ADA of 1990? We did. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm, we did.
And the Equality Act in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about the Ontarians with Disability Act.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully this is jogging everyone's memories. Applying, whoa, did we couldn't have done everything. Now I'm like kind of jumping.
So as I go through the headings in the body of knowledge of the CPACC, after whatever it was you just read, I get to, after the Ontarians with Disabilities Act, I get to 6.4 domain specific in government. And I kind of think that's where we were, somewhere in that area.
All right, bear with us,
but I don't know what order the PowerPoints go in. So
I'm looking at Hulda's because I stopped after wherever I stopped and just never actually did the PowerPoint for that. But I'm just gonna look at it on. I've been following the body of knowledge. Yeah,
it's the same ordered as the PDF. And I remember we talked briefly about procurement laws. I remember we were like, oh yes, that's pretty cool that they have that specifically for procurement. And I think that's where we left off.
Procurement, that's where I have marked in one thing. Because procurement, I think that covers Section 508. It covers, isn't there an, I don't know if I remember the number, but it's like EN 301-549, something like that.
Good memory, that's it.
Okay.
You know, there's a song that sings a little like 6-digit number, and I was singing it to that with that digit the other day, so it seems to have worked. Mnemonics, guys.
Okay, so from my memory, I remember talking about the Ontarians with Disability Act of 2001, I think. So did we talk about that one?
Yes, because we were trying to make sure we were pronouncing it correctly.
Yes, and someone helped us out. I think it was Liz. Domain-specific and government procurement laws. I feel like this is where we stopped off, actually, because I don't remember anything beyond this part. But what I didn't realize, everyone, is that we basically are finished with the laws. I thought we had so much more left, but this is like an entirely different section. Like applying the accessibility standards. So it's like the same thing, but like I don't think we'll be learning like more specific laws after this, but we'll see, I guess. All right. So domain specific and government procurement laws and regulations. I have not read ahead at all. So we're all learning this together again in that style. What's the difference between a domain-specific and government procurement law and regulations? Are those three different things? Those are two different things. Or are they all one thing? Well, it says domain-specific laws address U.S. Federal Communications Commission's 21st Century Communications and Video Accessibility Act. So this is the CVAA. U.S. Congress did the Air Carrier Access Amendment Act of 2017. Oh, we did talk about this because Dorlin talked about tank.
Yeah, the ACA is what covers tank in the skies, where the ADA covers him on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I remember.
We did briefly talk about these.
I think this is right around where we may have stopped. So let's talk about examples of procurement laws. So procurement laws address disabilities at the point of purchase by ensuring that products and services meet accessibility standards. Examples of disability-related procurement laws include the European Union's accessibility requirement for public procurement of ICT products and services in Europe, and the U.S. Office of Federal Procurement, the 508 compliance, which is what we work in. What were you telling us about procurement laws? I feel like you were telling us something about that, Dorlin.
When? Well,
Weren't you just saying something about procurement laws?
Oh, that Section 508 falls under them, and EN 301-549 does. Basically the products that you're procuring or acquiring,
Gotcha.
they have to be accessible.
Got it. So if we were asked about what are procurement laws, we would know to say Section 508 and the EU's accessibility requirement for public procurement of ICT, essentially, right?
Mm-hmm. And this is everything from like websites and to telephones and copiers and computers and all ICT products. ICT is, someone help me with the acronym. Information and communication technologies. There we go. Information and communication technologies.
Got it.
So anything in that are covered within these procurement laws.
Got it. All right. I think that makes a really good Anki card. Before I move on, I'm going to write that. What is an example of a procurement law? Okay, and y'all know I'm not fixing my spelling, sorry. Procurement. You know what? I feel like now I just realized other people will be possibly using my stuff with a screen reader, and that would be messed up for me to not fix these.
You know what, Africa? This is what I was thinking. Since you're doing all the work of putting together the first Anki cards, once you share your deck with me, I'll go through and edit them with the spelling and everything for you.
Oh my,
and that'll be my contribution.
Too much. That is too much. No, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna try. But but the rest of them you would have to do that. I'll probably go back as I'm studying and just fix them up because it won't be too much for me. But
does Anki not have a built-in spelling and grammar checker?
You know what? They don't. And I'm really struggling here. Section 508 and the EU accessibility for procurement for public pro ICT. All right. I'm sorry. These are so bad. I'm gonna add that. All right. The next slide is applying accessibility standards and regulation to ICT. So I'm guessing that this section is going to be all about the standards we just learned and how they actually apply in real life. So, what the CPAC would like us to do is name prominent examples of accessibility laws and regulations as they apply to ICT and identify the main enforcement mechanism of each. So, anybody, somebody, please tell me, what's ICT? You don't have to tell me what the acronym is, just tell me your understanding of it, and we'll leave this one for the chat to answer. So, when you see ICT, what should you be thinking about? All right, I'm gonna move on, but I'm gonna be looking for the chat to answer that one. All right, so applying accessibility standards and regulation to ICT USA, Section 508 regulation. So I think this is gonna get really into Section 508, which is exciting. It says that most countries provide laws protecting the civil rights of disabled persons for homes, parks, businesses, and educational facilities. Kathy Code said, I only know what it stands for, but not what it means. So when we're talking about ICT, Dorlin, tell us again.
This can be pretty much anything hardware and software. So anything from like websites or web applications to telephones and copy machines, any computers, software. I guess I already said software, but it really covers a whole lot of things.
CJ Dream said, computers, software, ATMs, cell phones. Exactly. So anything that we're using that's digital, whether it be hardware, like, you know, the things we're using technology wise, they have to all be compliant under these laws so everyone can actually use them and access whatever it is that it's helping them do. CJ Dream said kiosks. Yes, kiosks would probably fall under that too.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my goodness. I have never thought about kiosk accessibility. I also never thought about TV accessibility, but these things are things that people interact with daily and all the time, right? So they're also covered. So not all ICT has been covered in all countries. But in the US, federal, state, and local government websites must meet Section 508 regulations, which are based on the W3C Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or what we call WCAG 2.1. The ADA does not include any legal standards for website accessibility owned by private businesses or nonprofit organizations. Nonetheless, businesses and other organizations can be sued for lack of accessibility. So this is a topic that we've talked about a lot, especially here on stream. We've talked about, lawyers going around and specifically finding people to sue. And you can be sued if your website is not compliant with these laws as a private citizen, but it would be up to someone to find your websites and sue you. Whereas when it comes to the government, anything government related, it just has to be compliant, period. So they're not really going to push something out without it being compliant because that's kind of built in. But
and those are two separate laws there. The
Right.
government, federal and state, or federal government is going to fall under 508 compliance. The private sector is going to fall under the ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act, which doesn't specifically cover websites because it was written in 1990, but it has been interpreted to cover websites and the internet and everything as well. So just want to clarify, private falls under ADA, private and public account, and the federal government is under 508, public and private under the ADA.
Right. The interesting thing about Section 508 is it kind of does expand outward in that private companies who build things for the government, or private contractors or anyone who's building anything for any government entities, they're pretty much covered by Section 508 because the government is using it, versus anything that's like a private citizen. like Dorlin said, would be under the ADA. And I think it's really interesting and funny that like they've interpreted it to include websites. And I love that because I feel like it could have so easily not been interpreted that way.
Mm-hmm. And you just covered, when you mentioned the private sector being covered within 508 and as well because of the government, that's procurement, you know, that's the exact part we're talking about. You know, it helps cover a lot more because the government is forced to buy accessible products across the board. It makes private companies make their products accessible if they want to, you know, be a vendor to the government.
Exactly. And we love that.
Yay.
Title III prohibits discrimination based on disability and activities of places of public accommodation, which includes businesses, schools, places of recreation, offices, and medical buildings. Title III also covers e-commerce and organizational websites and public mobile applications. The ADA enforced by the U.S. Department of Justice is enforced by the U.S. Department of Justice Civil Rights Division. In the case of educational institutions, it's enforced by the U.S. Department of Education Office for Civil Rights through consent decrees and settlements. So really what I just try to remember, and this will make a great Anki card, is that one covers public citizens and the other one covers the government and anyone who works in the government, right? So I think a good question could be, who does section, and this only makes sense to me, but who does section 508 cover? Or what's a better question for that?
Well, but it cover, you know, but by making the government making those products accessible, the public who has to access the government's products, it benefits them too. So I don't think the way you're wording that is quite right.
Yeah. What does it cover?
Yeah. Or
what's a better word?
What does it apply to?
Yes.
Because right here in the CPACC, they say section 508 applies to, and then there's a bullet here.
Federal, state, and local government websites.
Well, this is federal government. I think local. Wait, maybe I'm a little confused there. Okay, my bad.
Well, I think
it is state governments too.
Yeah, pretty much. So like the city of whatever is kind of like a government, but they're just local. So I guess it covers them too. I actually never thought about that. All right, and then what does the Americans with Disabilities ADA Act cover? Any e-commerce and organizational websites, mobile apps made by private citizens. CJ Dream said, my company contracts with the government. We're in the process of testing and remediating e-learning courses for 508 compliance. Oh, that's really cool. Hey, Interplanet Me. Good to see ya in the chat for the first time. Maybe? Nope. I keep thinking that means first time chat. It does not. It's like a little icon with a little crown thing that shows up by their name.
One of these days I'm going to have to get into the chat and see how those icons read to a screen reader. I'm curious now.
Ah, that is a good question.
Or you could flip on JAWS.
I was about to say, like, I don't even know, like.
Oh, wait, no, you're on your Mac. Never mind.
Yeah, I have voiceover, though. Oops, I just popped away from what I was on for the Twitch. I am kind of curious. Okay.
A lot of the little icons and emojis are labeled out there, especially, and they've got funny little names.
I wonder how this would talk, though, since it's a live stream. You know what I mean? Would it just overpower the live stream? Would you have to pause it and then listen to Jaws? I'm gonna have to mess around with that.
It'd be a lot. I mean, I already have both of my headphones doing a different thing.
Yeah, for the newbies here, or those who don't know and didn't hear us talk about it, Dorlin is like she's constantly multitasking, listening to Jaws in her ear as she's talking to us. So if you hear her reading something, she's literally listening to it at lightning speed and then repeating it, which is just so cool. Like the way that it's like, I cannot do that yet, but when I'm able to do it, I'll be unstoppable.
Oh man, it is a skill I've been honing in on. When I started getting presentations in something, I realized, I got to get better at listening and talking at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's also why I have come to love Braille so much. And I'm really trying to get quick at that so that I can do away with the Jabberwocky in my ears.
Yeah, I don't know if we talked about it just us or on stream, but you were talking about how listening to something as you read it is completely different than using your touch and reading on the Braille keys. And I thought that was interesting because I'd never thought about the fact of like hearing something is so different from being able to look at the letters or feel the letters. It's just like a completely different experience. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's true.
What's also cool is the speed at which you're listening to, because it's not like regular speed like we are talking right now. It's really fast. So like at what, I don't know, maybe 1.75 or 2, which is super fast.
Yeah, we always ask what my Jaws is at, and I always forget to look.
I think it was 118 or 120, which is very fast, y'all. When we have more time, we're just gonna have a random day when we just like test things using VoiceOver, because that's what I have. I don't have Jaws on this computer. I have it on my work computer. All right, I'm gonna read some of these messages. Interplanet said. Sorry, I think I just talked over you, Dorlin. What were you saying?
No, I'm sorry. I was saying on those days we can share from my computer too with Jaws, because I have a license to Jaws.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll just share your screen, honestly. And we could show what the Apple voiceover is like and what yours is like. That'd be kind of cool. Interplanet Me said, I just purchased the deck systems to start studying the CPACC. Great. That is such a thorough course. You'll definitely be good with that. Kathy Codes, thank you so much. Kathy Codes said the ARIA label says Prime Gaming Badge. So that's what that crown badge that Interplanet Me has. That's interesting. CJ,
that's cool.
I know. Very cool. Interplanet Me said at CJ Dreams 83, I worked at a uni and helped with website updates using Drupal and by working on exam accommodations for students with ALI issues. Oh, wow. And then CJ Dreams said, very cool. That is very cool. All right, let's talk about, and then they said, never knew about the icon. Yeah, everyone has different icons depending on like if they're first time in the chat or if they've been in the chat a lot or all kinds of random stuff. So I'm always like looking at them like, oh, what's that? And I don't have like one of those fancy streams where the badges pop up and everyone can see it. So I'm always like, what is that? All right. Anyway, applying accessibility standards and regulation to ICT, we're going to talk about Europe. So Europe has the Web Accessibility Directive, WAD. So in Europe, they have a set of standards and requirements in the European Union. I guess one is the European Union Web Accessibility Directive of 2016 or 2012, which was effective in September 2018. It established accessibility standard rules that all public sector websites and applications in the EU member states must implement, maintain, and enforce or risk fines and legal penalties. Wow. They were explicit. They said you must implement, maintain, and enforce, or we will fine you. All right. So the directive refers to the EN 301-543 standards, which we learned about previously. Those were those procurement laws?
Yes.
I think it's 549.
54. Oh yeah, it is 549. Sorry, I am not a great reader. It's hard for me sometimes. 301 and 549 standards. So I'm just gonna remember every time I see EN 301, 509, 549, 549 standards that is a procurement law. So that's what
go.
this directive is referring to. Requirements to websites and apps include ensuring websites and apps are accessible, an accessibility statement, a menu maybe for users to report inaccessibility, a link to enforcement procedures.
A method, I'm sorry.
Oh,
That was my type.
A method for users to report inaccessibility and a link to enforcement procedures. Okay. So they actually have to have an accessibility statement. You need to be able to report things, and then they have to show how they're actually doing that. So, wow.
I've seen
I like
websites
that.
where, at least here in the States, I've seen websites where you can say, report an issue, but it's not accessible. And so I
Crying.
think, great. Yes. And I think this is great that Europe does that, because it specifically say and make sure that it's, it's accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Europe seems to be really on it.
They really are. Also, fun fact, well, I don't know if fun fact, but I recently was talking to a friend who's working in Germany, and she mentioned that overlays in Europe are illegal. And a lot of the companies that are coming to the States are coming from Europe because our laws are so relaxed.
Stop it.
I
Ooh,
know.
I was just raging about overlays like 2 days ago. Jeez.
Now I've given you more fuel.
I'm just like, I'm starting to get hot. Gotta move my collar around. Goodness.
Yeah.
All right. Kathy Code said, I've had to make websites accessible under this before, and it was how I learned about accessibility. Wow, I never knew. Yeah. That in and of itself should tell you all you need to know about overlays, my guys. Okay? They're literally, I was like, how is this legal? How?
Yeah.
Some of them literally purposely, they coded it to do this. They're there to just trick your accessibility checker if you didn't manually test, right? If you didn't manually test your automated accessibility checkers, it will trick them and say that it's fully accessible. That's all I gotta say about that. All right, so applying accessibility standards and regulation to ICT. Europe has the European Accessibility Act, or the EAA. The European Accessibility Act was passed by the European Commission in June of 2019. CJ Dream said, so messed up. Yeah, we're not gonna, you know me, I will derail this whole this whole study group to talk about this, but I'm not gonna do it today. It covers products and services identified as most important to PWD, providing common rules, including comprehensive sets of minimum requirements for all private businesses, including manufacturers, representatives, importers, and distributors, except micro enterprises, to make a range of products and services accessible for PWD. What's PWD again?
People with disabilities. I just do it so all the text can fit in the slide. Yes.
Okay. Person with disabilities, if anyone forgot like I did.
Persons or people.
Wait, did I say it wrong?
I always put an S on the end. Persons with disabilities, or is it people with disabilities? I don't know. I think it probably stands for both.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Okay. Persons or people with disabilities, including computers and operating systems, ATMs, ticketing and check-in machines, TV equipment related to digital services, telephone services and related equipment, access to audio-visual media services such as television broadcast and related customer equipment, services related to Airbus rail and waterborne passenger transport, banking services, ebooks, e-commerce. So this is basically ICT as we talked about it, except now we see a full list of what the ICT includes. This also applies for the US. The Act allows for NGOs, the responsible national authority, or other bodies to go to court on behalf of an individual under national law. It also allows for the imposition of penalties for non-compliance with accessibility standards. Each member state is responsible for enforcement. So they literally have to basically, enforce themselves. I wonder, what I'm just curious about, just thinking about, is I wonder how they enforce this. Or is it like our laws where they just have to be sued? Right? Because they're telling you need all this stuff, but like, who's to say that you do or do not have it? That's just what I'm kind of curious about. All right. We're going to move on to integrating ICT accessibility across the organization. This is what the CPACC wants us to know. They want us to describe recommended steps to follow to adopt an ICT accessibility plan across your organization, understand the utility of accessibility maturity models, describe the importance of management champions. So what I'm going to do, because this is not my PowerPoint, so I'm not sure just how Hulda structured it. I want to see if we're in a completely new section right now. Because I think we are. And yeah, we are. We're in a totally new section. So I'm just going to look ahead and see how much more we have here, if this is the last actual section. Big section, at least.
It is.
Oh my God, it is. That's so wild. We made it, y'all. We made it. All right. So this is what they want us to know. They want us to describe and recommend steps to follow to adopt an ICT accessibility plan across your organization. Check. Understand the utility of accessibility maturity models. Check. And describe the importance of management champions. Okay. Sounds very useful, actually.
Management champions?
Yeah, I mean, sign me up for that job. Alrighty. Hulda, do you mind reading this slide?
No problem.
Thank you.
So integrating ICT accessibility across the organization. And these are the resources. W3C Web Accessibility Initiative, planning and managing web accessibility. We also have the European Agency for Special Needs and Inclusive Education. And the resource that I specifically refer to is making your organization's information accessible for all, implementing the guidelines for accessible information. There's also the Carnegie Mellon, if that's how you pronounce it, Carnegie Mellon University Software Engineering Institute, and they provide the resource of key practices for the capability maturity model version 1.1. There's also the Business Disability Forum, Accessible Technology Chartered, Accessibility Maturity Model. I guess this one goes more in depth. The W3C Web Accessibility Initiative, Evaluating Web Accessibility Overview. That's pretty cool. And the Employer Assistance and Resource Network on Disability Inclusion, Creating an Accessible and Welcoming Workplace. That one's cool. I mean, all of them are, but I like that.
So that is in the CPACC body of knowledge. If in case you all wanted to check those out, if you happen to be here and just want us to send it to you in the chat, just like let us know and we'll go ahead and send it over to you. So I'm going to go to the slide that's above that. This one talks about...
Real quick, before you move on, can I just say for anyone who might be following along in the body of knowledge, like me later on, these resources are under heading 6.6.1. resources. All right.
Right. Yep. So here
Sorry,
it's
Africa.
actually
Realize I
page 94, just in case you want those.
Ooh, cool.
All right. Oh, I should have just mentioned that I was flashing the CPAC body of knowledge, the page where all the links are. 6 point. Oh, Dorlin, didn't you say that heading structures or something were off in here?
There's a couple of headings throughout here that were not tagged. Most of them are, but there's a few that aren't.
Okay. Okay.
And there's a few list structures. But actually, hold up. There are no lists on this page.
SMH, there are lists. There's a list of 6.
And just for everyone, when I said there are no lists on this page, I was repeating verbatim what my screen reader just told me when I hit the quick command to find a list or the next list structure, which is a key way we will navigate when we're honestly doing something like this, navigating a big document and you're trying to get through and find different pieces of information. That structure is so important. But yeah, no lists here. Womp womp.
Yeah, we were talking about possibly reaching out and letting them know of that, because there are a lot of people who are probably using a screen reader navigating this little document, and that would be really nice. Oh snap, Sino's in the house. What's up, Sino?
What up?
Sino said late to the party, but I made it. You're not really that late. You're good on time, man. Plants in Pajamas said, welcome back. Sinotech said, the IAAP, what are you doing? Sinotech said, hire me. I can run it an accessibility audit, I promise. For real, y'all need, it sounds like y'all need Sino in the house. I don't know. Just saying. How did your, Sino actually did a presentation last week on accessibility in Canada. How did it go, Sino? All right, I'll read what their response is. Sino said, listen to Africa. She's super smart. Thanks, man. All right, let's talk about, and then they said it went well. The full VOD is up. You should drop the VOD in the chat. Just saying. CJ Dream says, hashtag hire Sino. Hire my boy. All right. So yeah, Sino, put it in the chat so that people can see. All right, let's talk about integrating ICT accessibility across the org. This is the overview of what we're going to be learning. To be successful within an organization, ICT accessibility must be approached strategically and programmatically and implemented as an integral and ongoing activity. So you got to have something in place, a plan in place to start it from the beginning. It must be a program and not a project. Y'all know what we mean by that. It means this is not a one-time thing where we just learn about something, key, and then leave it. We're here to actually make this an ongoing thing that is a requirement. I like it. This section presents recommendations for designing and implementing organizational strategy for ICT and accessibility. It also presents examples of maturity models, which provide methods for defining, managing, and measuring an organization's performance in meeting ICT accessibility best practices. Several models are available, and it is recommended you work with one that best meets the culture and needs of your organization. So it sounds like we're going to be learning exactly how to structurally implement something like this, which is actually really cool. So Sino dropped the YouTube video. Hey, YouTube, come through. So here it is, folks. 58 minutes of good accessibility. Dorlin, I'm gonna put this in the chat for you, okay? Just
Yay!
in case you want to listen to it later.
I do.
Put that in the chat in here. Room. And for those curious, because this is a casual stream, this is actually what I use to see Hulda and Dorlin. So Dorlin, right now, I'm just pulling up the Video Ninja, what I use so that you guys can come through on the stream. I'm showing you this, everyone, because I think I've mentioned it, but I've had to screen share on Zoom to get Dorlin in here because one part of this website and just one is not accessible. So when I just sent her that little link, I was like, I hope that she could actually open that. But I remembered that she said everything is good except for that the first window that she gets in. And Hilda is going to help us reach out to them and actually let them know that it's a problem. So I'm kind of excited to see if they actually fix it and if that'll work. So we'll keep you all posted. I think that's like an interesting little experiment we're running, just to let's see if you all can fix this for us. We use it all the time and we like your product. Help us use it more.
Yeah, let me get in the room on my own. Like, don't make us go through another product, i.e. Zoom, to get in there.
Exactly.
Because like I can mute myself and turn my video on and off now that I'm in, but those buttons don't work for me when I'm trying to get in.
Right. Yeah. All right.
Oh, well.
So we're going to move on. We already talked about these links. So these links will probably be good for just like backup studying, knowing what you're talking about essentially, and having some extra just reading material. That's not what we're going to go over. So W3C Web Alley Initiative recommendations. The World Wide Web Consortium's Web Accessibility Initiative provides detailed recommendations for planning, implementing, and sustaining an organizational ICT accessibility program. Initiate. To succeed, a web accessibility effort must be well-grounded in organizational culture, processes, and practices. To do this, align accessibility with existing organizational approaches, develop and communicate clear, measurable objectives, and engage stakeholders to secure understanding and broad support throughout the organization. Learn the basics, explore the current environment, set objectives, develop the business case, raise awareness, gather support, and plan. Okay, that sounds pretty straightforward, I guess. Sounds like a lot of work. Careful planning is critical to effective implementation of any accessibility effort. It ensures a clear assessment of the required work, distribution of tasks, and continual follow-up on progress. Oh my goodness, this is a lot. All right, so this is a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What were you going to say, Dorlin?
Oh, just maybe you said the four, the four major phases. Did I hear you say that? Because I feel like that's a good Anki card. Or maybe I got ahead. But when you said the bullet points had like 10 there, maybe I'm at a different point than you are.
You might be. Let's see.
All right, let me sit back and let you do your thing, and I'll jump back in when I know for sure.
No. I'm trying to look.
That where we're at, because I know we'd started talking about the W3C initiatives.
Double check.
On planning and managing web accessibility.
I don't see anything yet. That's like specific.
That's maybe the first thing I've got. Oh, okay. Maybe I'm just going in the order of the CPACC body of knowledge, and yeah.
I'm pulling it up now. So right now what I have showing is the CPACC body of knowledge. And okay, I see that it's basically following this. So maybe initiate.
Yeah, that's the one. It. That's where I'm starting with. There's 4 of them though. It's initiate, implement, or no. Initiate, plan, implement, sustain.
Do those each have their own thing?
Oh, they seem to, but they're not actual headings.
Okay, see, that's why I'm like, I'm looking for the heading, and I don't see it.
They should have headings here. They should be like heading levels.
Okay, I see now. So this is initiate. This is implement. Wow. Okay. Yes, you're right. This is actually, that's why I was like, this is a lot. It seems really random. Like, what part are we supposed to get from this? This actually would make a good Anki card just to remember that there's four. So thank you for stopping me. So what would the Anki card for this be, Dorlin?
So this is from the W3C web guidelines. I guess not guidelines, but they published a guide. So what does the W3C guide, or what are the W3C guides for steps to planning and managing web accessibility?
Initiatives.
No.
No?
Wait, guide on planning and managing web accessibility.
Initiatives?
Oh, I didn't say initiatives, but initiate is the first, right? Initiate is our first one.
Yes. It says web accessibility initiative recommendations.
So,
So maybe that is a part of it. So it's like you're doing an initiative,
yeah,
but initiate is the first step for that.
Okay, no, you're right. The part I had just read didn't have that word in. I got confused, but when I went back, yeah. Sorry.
I think they got tired at the end of this, and I feel them because I'm tired too.
Yeah, that's
Sino said, what are the 4 W3C web initiative recommendations? Copy and paste. That's why we missed you, man.
beautiful.
Man, we're just up here struggling. Not really, but okay.
Teamwork.
Initiate, implement.
No, initiate, then plan.
Initiate, plan, and implement, right?
Sinotech said, my accessibility family. That's literally how it feels, though. I like the people who understand. Is it only 3?
No, it's 4. It's the sustain is the 4th. So initiate, plan, implement, sustain. Initiate, plan, implement, sustain. Ipis?
Right. And this
Not enough vowels to make a mnemonic, but
okay, so just using context clues, we can kind of guess, figure out like, okay, I know. Initiate, that just means just got to start it, learn about it, set up objectives, develop a business case, raise awareness, gather your support, all that good stuff. And then plan. So that just means creating the accessibility policy, assigning the responsibilities, reviewing the environment, thinking about the budget and the resources needed, establishing a way to monitor success, engaging with the stakeholders who are going to be affected by it, right? And then we have the implementation part, where we kind of create a process to minimize overhead and improve overall quality of the final outcome, prioritize quick wins, and communicate progress to increase commitment and develop a sense of accomplishments. So with that, it says build skills and expertise, integrate goals into policies, assign tasks, support delivery, evaluate early and regularly, prioritize issues, track and communicate progress, sustain. That's good. Psychology says that people like to know that they're doing well and that they're being successful. So having those regular updates are also super helpful. And then the last part is sustain. So how are we going to sustain this? Keeping up with momentum helps with the accessibility maintenance for completed projects and build on completed work for new projects. Regular reviews of content, organizational processes, and resources will help ensure that accessibility remains a priority and issues are identified. Developing a management reporting process will help ensure that it is clear where activity is required for follow-up work. So we do this by monitoring websites, engaging with stakeholders, tracking standards and legislation, adapting to new technologies, and incorporating user feedback. All right, great. I think we got it. So, what are the 4W3 initiative recommendations? Initiate, plan, implement, sustain. Initiate, plan, implement, sustain. I piss.
It this.
Well, I will remember that. I don't know. All right.
Yeah, that's true. That is memorable.
Sinotech said the folks who get it, and the folks who don't. He said that before I said that, to be clear, but and then they also said I saw that one coming. Kathy Code said LOL. Hey man, that's what I'm gonna remember in my head. Just saying. Anyways, let's move on.
Oh my god.
And I like, yeah, so you highlighted it here. That's good. All right, so we're going to move on to the European Agency for Special Needs and Inclusive Educational Guidelines. And then we'll have the Capability and Maturity Model for Software Adapted. Then the Business Disability Forms Accessibility Maturity Model. Okay, and then the champion stuff. Oh, there's actually way more than I thought there was. Am I going up or down right now?
No, you're going.
Sorry, I'm using a new mouse and I'm also cross-eyed right now. I'm kind of tired.
Oh, right. I have a cross-eyed icon in an app right now.
What'd you say?
I have a cross-eyed icon in an app right now. Cross-eyed? That I think is... there's a cross-eyed icon. That's what it reads me. I think it's their help button. I'm going to investigate later.
I keep forgetting about that.
I do too. I was going to show you yesterday. I'm going to show you next time.
Okay.
I see you.
Okay. The European Agency for Special Needs and Inclusive Educational Guidelines. That's what we're learning about next. All right. I'm going to ask for your help. Hold on.
Got it. Here I come. All right. So you're on what? Slide 39?
What number is this?
Oh, and wait, no, 38.
Okay. I think you can see me. Yeah.
Yes. Sometimes it jumps. Okay. So inclusive education guidelines. So published as a freely available resource. The guidelines are designed for organizations that want to ensure the information they provide is accessible. That's great. The guidelines include the following recommendations. All right, so that it will be include an accessibility statement in the organization's long-term strategy. Develop a strategy or plan for implementing accessible information. Make someone responsible for implementing that information, the information accessibility plan, and provide them with the required resources. I guess they both could go hand in hand, so that's key. Plan an incremental implementation. Be ambitious and models and modest at the same time. Embed accessibility into your information production and dissemination process. Provide information, education, and training on accessibility for all staff. That's key. When outsourcing information production, make sure accessibility requirements are addressed and undergo a quality check. These are actually really helpful.
Yeah.
I can see
this is good information for people who are working in accessibility, well, not in accessibility, but who are interested in just like being an evangelical person. I always mess that word up, but someone who wants to be a champion for accessibility. It gives like a nice little plan. All right, can you do the next one too, please?
Yeah, so continuation of this, the guidelines include a model for organizational implementation adapted here. So a little similar to the previous one, kind of like having sections of how to do that. So one, policy. Develop a long-term strategy that recognizes all aspects of disability. Publish an accessibility statement that includes a commitment to make your services and information accessible. Develop a procurement policy that covers accessibility compliance for products and services, including those for information production and dissemination. Develop an information accessibility plan that is detailed and ambitious, but realistic and covers the small steps. And then, I'm sorry, this is for the plan, by the way. So I read 3 for the policy and 2 for the plan. So these are for the plan. Develop an information accessibility plan that is detailed and ambitious, but realistic and covers the small steps. And ensure the person or team responsible for the plan has authority and resources. That's key, because if you don't have the authority or the resources, that one's really hard to put together. And then, should I go to the next slide, or do you want to add anything there? Right. And then practice. So conduct a pilot of the guidelines, provide awareness training for all staff and how accessibility applies to information. Provide training for content specialists on tools to make information accessible. Produce style guides and templates. That is so key. If I can just stop there for a minute. I think this is super helpful because we're really talking about how to help people that may not necessarily be so aware about accessibility implement templates that are accessible. An example of that would be PowerPoints. Anyway, cool. Update work processes to embed information accessibility. Create information using the style guides and templates. Give external providers the guidance and requirements for compliance. And conduct accessibility testing before releasing any services or publishing any information. Testing.
I like the emphasis you put on any there.
I'm going to say one thing for sure. When it comes to Europeans and their little laws and whatever they say, they are so detailed, and they're going to win when it comes to that, especially compared to the American laws and stuff like that. I'm reading this and I'm like, this is so much more, a lot more steps and more specific, they're really telling you exactly each part to do. Yeah. I like that. All right. So we're already about an hour and 15 minutes in, and I need at least a 2-minute break. So we're going to take a 2-minute break. Make it 3 actually. It looks like we are not going to do a review today because we're already this far in and we still have to learn about the capability maturity model. And I don't want to rush through any of these. So just as a heads up for anybody who may leave after this break, hopefully you don't, because it'll be good for us to finish this together. But I'm envisioning that our big study group time where we're going to go through all this, we might break it up into two pieces. So we'll do one first half, however long we can go, and then we'll do another study where it's the other half. But we'll see what happens. But just so you do know, you can sign up for the test if you want to do it in November. So a lot of us are doing that. That'll be very fun to do together. I'll probably do that during the next stream when we're doing the review. Sinotech said if anyone wants to review sessions, we can also host them in the Discord if that's the case. I think I would kind of want to do that, I think. But let's talk about it in Discord and see who wants to do it. Maybe we can do one where we just go into the voice channel and then whoever wants to turn on their camera can. The good thing about the voice channels are that we a bunch of us can participate at one time, and it's a little bit more formal, and we're not streaming live to a bunch of different people. It'll just be us. So we'll talk about that and see who wants to do that as well. Kathy Co said, I think I'll sign up for early next year. Whew. Yes, that's a good idea too. I don't know how many of us are doing it this month, but it's a nice little handful of us. I'm really excited to do the review and just take the test. All right, my friends, let's take a solid 3 minutes. And if I'm here 4 minutes later, just give me some grace. All right. I'm going to play some jams and see you at It's 5:15 on my side, so by like 5:20 I'll be back on, all right? Sino texted, I think I may do early December. Nice, nice. All right, y'all. See you very soon. Oops. Let me actually turn my mic on. All right. Turn down the music, turn the vibes down. All right, did everyone have a good break?
Yes. Got a little snack. Tank got a little treat.
So I was wondering why I was so tired and why I was tapping out so quickly. And I realized it was because I have been standing all day. Like, I still had my standing desk up, and I never stream with my standing desk standing. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've been standing like all day at work and then all day for the stream. Sheesh. All right, well, I'm seated now, so I'm probably, maybe, hopefully we'll get a second wind. But we don't have a lot left. Let's try to get through it. And you may notice that my camera keeps shaking, and it's because my $150 Amazon standing desk that I've had for 2 years is falling apart. No. So I'm sorry about that. It's literally like shaking every time I move or type, and I'm embarrassed, but it's fine.
Africa, is that the one that you put on top of your desk and then you kind of lift it? There's like a little device that allows you to put it up and down, or is it like an actual desk?
Oh no, this is an actual desk. It's like, I don't know. Well, this is my weird anime thingy, but I don't know. It's like a white desk, like just a regular white desk. But yeah.
I love that. I have the one where you put it on top of your desk or a table or whatever you have, but it's also wobbly too. So I know what you're talking about.
I saw that one. I made my own, but then after a while, I was like, I have to get a real desk.
You made your own? Like you physically like designed one and made it your own?
You know, I used to be a little broke occupational therapist with no job. Well, it wasn't literally no job, but I was doing virtual therapy, and it was like through my own business. So I didn't have a lot of money to spare. It was very bootstraps, and I made my own standing desk out of a tall dresser drawer. And then I had another area where it was literally a dish rack on top of a regular desk with like this piece of board that I like found from the dresser, and I laid it across, and it made a stand. I'm just thinking about it, and I wrote a blog about it, and I wonder where that blog is. It's on it's like on my old business page, which is deprecated, and now I'm like, I need to find that and like share it again. It's hilarious.
That's amazing. Furniture repurposing. I love that.
Yep, it's what I had to do at the time. Todd Libby, oh snap. Todd Libby said, hey, just wanted to drop in and say hello. Hey, Todd, real tears. Are you at a conference or something? I feel like you're at a conference, or maybe you were at a conference talking about deceptive patterns. Not dark patterns, y'all, deceptive patterns. I don't know, maybe something else. All right, I'm going to get us started back where we were so we can get out of here by 6. All right. Okay. Oh, I know why there's oh, no, that's not why. Oh, Todd said, nope, I am home from 2 conferences. So you just did 2 conferences. Got it. Cool. All right, so we're learning about the capability maturity model for software adapted. And also we're learning about this live together. I don't know anything about anything that we're about to talk about other than what I can infer based off of old learning. So according to this graphic that we have up, it says 5 levels of the capability maturity model. I'm pretty sure that this is a little hard to see, so I'm going to expand it for those who want to see what it says, and I'm going to describe it. All right, so it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels. So it's kind of showing that across from each other. And level 1 is written in red. It says initial software development processes are disorganized. And then in orange, we have level 2, repeatable processes are defined and documented. Level 3 in yellow, defined processes are standardized. Level 4 in green, Managed processes are monitored and controlled. Level 5 in forest green. Optimizing processes are continually improved. And I also want to read the chat. I think Todd just put something. Todd Libby said, and boy, my arms are tired. Magnolia, JS, Deceptive Patterns talked, and Connect Tech and Alley auditing workshop, and talk on poor principles of audit of Alley. That's cool. We all learned about poor principles a couple of weeks ago, right? Do y'all remember what the poor POUR stands for? The first person to put it in the chat gets bragging rights because that's all I got.
Well, that's pretty good here, I feel like.
Seriously, I mean, the accessibility family is that's clout. All right. All right, let's move on. The capability and maturity model for software adapted. So we're going to learn a little bit about that. It's developed by the Carnegie Mellon University. It's an IT process improvement model that was initially designed for software development, but it can be applied to measures an organization's ICT accessibility maturity. Cinotech, you should, the first one. Cino, come on. All right, Cino said perceivable, operable, understandable, robust. We knew you were going to be first. I'll throw in an accessibility lobster t-shirt. Oh, I got a bone to pick. I know this is not your fault, Todd, but I bought a Little Miss Accessibility shirt and it never came. And I've been meaning to reach out to you about that. I think it's whatever the company, something happened with the shipment. I'm not sure. I got an email one time and I just never looked at it again. But I'm really sad because I wanted to post me and my Little Miss Accessibility t-shirt. Sad. But yeah, Cinotech, you got bragging rights.
I want one of these t-shirts.
I'm going to send you the link. Awesome. Yeah. Yes. So Todd Libby said, wait, what? Yeah, I've been meaning to talk to you about it. I bought it a couple months ago, and I was super excited. And I just got busy and just forgot to even follow up with it. But I want that shirt. No, Cotton Burrow didn't ship it. I'll probably just forward you the email so you can see if there was something weird that I did on my part. But Todd Libby has really cool t-shirts and they're accessibility related. And Todd, I'm just saying you should drop the link in the chat so that people can see what you're talking about. And Dorlin, I will send you the link if Todd drops it in the chat as well. All right. Where was I? Sorry. When Todd gets in the chat, I get a little excited, y'all. Okay. So we're talking about the capability and maturity model developed by the Carnegie University. So is the Carnegie University the same thing as Carnegie Mellon University? Does anyone know? Is that something? I feel like I need to know that and would like to Google it, so I will. Because isn't the Carnegie University famous or something, prestigious? Yeah, maybe that's what it's been called this whole time. Yeah, this is the one, right? Or what if I put Carnegie University?
Oh, also, I don't know if Darlene, you said something, but I think you're muted.
Oh, thank you. Very good catch. I did say something. I'm sitting here being like, yeah, it's Carnegie Mellon.
Oh, geez.
I think they are prestigious for, I believe, engineering. Stuff like that.
Right. They are
the sciences.
When I pull it up, it does say that. Okay, back to the matter at hand. I just wanted to make sure that that's who did it because that tells me that it's prominent. And right now I'm pausing to send Dorlin this link because Todd dropped the link for that t-shirt website that he has. All right, here it is in the chat. And the Little Miss Accessibility one is really cute. I thought that was adorable. Actually, just cause I'm gonna just click on it so y'all can see how cool they are.
Yay.
I'm like, is this website accessible?
Oh my gosh, a lot of the like little e-commerce type ones aren't. And it comes
Yeah.
back to like that creating like the shell that's already accessible. There's so many that are just going out and using a template that's already out there, and they have no idea that their shop is inaccessible to someone using excessive assistive technology.
Yeah, yeah. So some of the shirts say things like "Little Mister Color Contrast," and it has like this cute little like guy. I don't know how to explain it. Like a happy, a mad face, but it's blue and it has shoes
They did
and
like
arms.
kind of a play off of the Little Miss and that like
Yes,
thing I remember from childhood, and yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm
exactly
so
that.
excited.
So Little Miss Accessibility is like that little the weird little girl with the pigtails, that drawing with the weird feet, and then he has another one that says Little Miss finds no alt text, and then it's just like an orange one with its arms crossed, looking mad. Those are my favorite, and they're funny.
Ooh,
Oh,
I
and
love
then another
I
one, you'll like this one, Dorlin. I spoke up about an overlay company, and all I got was sued and this lousy T-shirt. Yikes. Why'd you have to come for them like that, is all I gotta say. Anyways.
wow, I really like that iPhone case.
Oh, this.
Ali or AE11Y is a right, not a privilege. I might have to get
Yes.
that one with a hoodie.
Yep. And this one, there's a lot more in here. But I'll let y'all check this out. I'm sure there's alt text on this. We pray. All right. Because that would be funny. And I know Todd has no control over what Cotton Burrow's overlay, like what their template that they
Oh,
use is. So,
you already put it in the chat for me, the
yes,
link?
I did. I
All right.
did. All right. Sorry for that backtrack, but let's get back to it.
I don't think we'd be a real study group if we didn't get distracted every once in a while by something shiny.
Seriously. Okay, where am I? Okay, so this is cool. It was created by the Carnegie University. We know about them for the most part, maybe. And this version is freely available. And they talk about maturity levels, and it looks like there's, let me look ahead and make sure there's only two. Maybe there's more. Nope, there's five. Five maturity levels. The first one is initial. Capability is ad hoc and unpredictable. The organization typically does not provide a stable environment for developing and maintaining accessible products, service, and information. Repeatable. Policies are in place for managing products and procedures for ICT accessibility. Processes can be categorized as practiced, documented, enforced, trained, measured, able to improve. Okay. I'm just rereading this in my brain so it actually does something. Usually I can read something and it feels obvious. In this one, the way it's written, I feel like I have to think a little hard. So, policies are in place for managing projects and procedures for ICT accessibility. Processes can be characterized as practiced. So, I'm guessing that it's being used and implemented in some way, documented, enforced, trained. So maybe that means there's some training, there's a way to measure it, and the ability to improve. All right, thank you for sticking with me through that.
I think the way that I understand this, and I don't know, I'd love to hear your perspective too, is
Mm-hmm.
this is step two, I think, right? That repeatable process of the first image that you showed at the beginning. It's that repeatable level two, where you're kind of are repeat you have processes and are defining and documenting and kind of, it almost in my head seems like a cycle, Like you already have established processes, now you're training, then you measure it and you repeat again.
Okay. Makes sense to me. Todd actually dropped a link in the chat to the W3 maturity model. So that's what I was kind of looking through very quickly, but it's very long. So that would be for us to look at later. And then I'm just going to drop it in the chat for Dorlin so that she also has it to look at later when she wants to. Oh, wrong one. Sorry about that.
And there is alt text on the t-shirt graphics, but it's just the name of the t-shirt. So there's no actual description of it within the alt text. It just says like Little Miss Accessibility t-shirt link.
Got it. Well, I guess thank God for Be My Eyes AI.
Oh my goodness, my new favorite thing.
Yeah, I don't know if we even talked about it on stream, but that thing just kills me. All right, we're going to move on. This is the capability maturity model for software adapted continued. So we're going to talk about number 3 out of the 5, which is defined. Standards and processes for developing and maintaining ICT accessibility across organizations are documented, and these processes are integrated into a coherent whole. Processes are used and changed as appropriate to help staff perform more effectively. Then we have managed. The organization sets quantitative quality goals for products and processes. Processes include well-defined and consistent measurement, and then optimization. The entire organization is focused on continuous process improvement. The organization identifies weaknesses and strengthens the process proactively with the goal of preventing the occurrence of defects. Innovation that exploits best practices are identified and transferred throughout the organization. All right, my cat's back. I knew she couldn't stay away. Okay, so let's talk about the key practices. The maturity level is attained through commitment to key practices. So these key practices are the commitment to perform, the ability to perform, activities performed, measurement and analysis, and verifying implementation. So for commitment to perform, it says establishment of organizational policies and senior management sponsorships. Number 2 says the ability to perform, resources, organizational structures, and training, activities performed, establishment of plans and procedures, performance and tracking work, taking corrective actions as needed. Measurement and analysis is examples of measurement for determining the status and effectiveness of activities performed. And then verifying implementation is reviews and audits by management and quality assurance. Okay. Lots of words. All right. The Business Disability Forum's Accessibility Maturity Model. The Business Disability Forum's Technology Task Force developed the Accessibility Maturity Model as a self-assessment tool to help organizations benchmark their progress in all aspects of accessibility. It's based on the Accessible Technology Charter, which lays out 10 commitments to good practices in ICT accessibility. Organizations make a public commitment to accessibility when they sign the charter. I'm not going to click on this, but, I guess we're going to read about it because it says next slide. Oh my goodness. Okay. I've run out of steam.
Do you need help? I know you've been talking the entire time. So
yeah, I think if you want to help, please. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Get some water, get some rest. Anyway, okay, so I'll continue for the rest of the slides. So now we're looking at the Business Disability Forum's accessibility maturity model, specifically at the Accessible Tech Charter. So these are the 10 commitments that was mentioned before. So number one, we will appoint an executive level technology champion who will report to the board, raise awareness of the benefits of this agenda, and ensure that we achieve continuous improvement in this area. Two, we will ensure that colleagues are aware of how technology can liberate the contribution of everyone as colleagues and customers. Three, we will routinely consult with disabled colleagues, customers, and experts to ensure that we understand the impact of our technology on talent management, colleague productivity, and our diverse customer base. Number four, we will enable built-in accessibility to allow reasonable personalization of technology by our colleagues and customers. Five, we will embed and promote a workplace adjustment process that provides usable technology solutions for disabled colleagues within a reasonable time frame. Six, we will give our relevant teams the accessibility know-how needed to deliver effective business processes and adjustments for disabled colleagues and customers. So we have 4 more to go. We will establish our performance baseline using the accessibility maturity model. We will consistently go beyond minimum compliance to bring greater benefits to our business and share best practices with others. Number 8, we will promote a development lifecycle for our technology solutions that is based on inclusive design from definition to delivery to minimize the cost and reputational risk triggered by retrofitting products and systems. We have 2 more. We will include, so number 9, we will include accessibility as a key requirement within our procurement process and build relationships with supply partners to develop and deliver accessible products and services. And last but not least, number 10, we will continuously improve accessibility within our organization, document what works, and share our learning with the technology task force.
Thank you.
These are pretty helpful, especially like if you're trying to implement this in your organization and are trying to find ways to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it looks like the Business Disability Forum, they assess this through a progress scale of 1 through 5, with level 1 being informal. There's no documents or processes in place. Level 2 being defined. It's documented but not actioned or completed once. Level 3 is repeatable, process established and actioned consistently. Level 4 is managed, process monitored, improved, business as usual. And level 5 is best practice, innovate, improve, and share. RoboDom's in the building. Hey, RoboDom. Good to see ya. All right, let me just read some of these comments because oh, there's a lot in here. Let's see. Oh, Kathy Codes is based in London. I feel like we talked about that, but I don't know if we did. That's cool. All right, it's just some people talking to each other. Okay, didn't miss much. Just making sure that no one asked any questions or were speaking directly to us. All right, let's see. What else does the CPACC want us to know? We know everything already. I don't want to learn anymore. My brain.
Okay. Almost there.
We are champions.
Okay, yay. We got to the part where I was very interested in what they were going to say. Let's see. 666, the importance of management champions. Launching and sustaining an accessibility program requires champions, aka all of us sitting here and in the chat, from key areas across the organization. It is necessary to build champions' understanding of accessibility so that they both can understand the levels of accessibility within their areas of responsibility and lead initiatives needed to improve capabilities. So I feel like that's really pointed, especially because we're doing the thing in which it's talking about, which is kind of cool. I feel like something that I think about a lot and why I really like that it said this is a lot of people, we talk about accessibilities in our lives, and then we do it for work, but we don't really have like a strong foundation on what accessibility actually is. So I like that they kind of pointed that out as an area to actually improve in. So champions become advocates during the accessibility adoption plan by building engaging their teams, building awareness and skills, and evangelizing accessibility. I used that word earlier and I had a hard time, but it's evangelizing, I'm pretty sure. Champions will help build a vision and align implementation strategies, sustain ongoing commitment and collaboration, support the programming and integration throughout organization process, and then make clear the distinction between it and discrete accessibility projects. And then lastly, lead the adoption of an accessibility maturity model. Okay, let's talk about evaluating for accessibility. Okay, now I see where we're at. Past the parts that make it hard for me to read because it's so dry. Evaluating for accessibility. These are the things we know. Maybe that's why they make me more excited. I'm like, that one was all new information in my brain. So testing is critical to the design and development of accessible ICT. Tattoo that on my forehead, y'all. Like, for real, do it immediately. They'll be like, oh, we thought it was accessible. Well, did you even test it though? Because I mean, I don't know, that sounds like the first step to me. Anyways, practices must be built into the organization's approach to accessibility. The W3C recommends evaluating early. We talk about that all the time and throughout the design and development process. It's easier and less costly to find and address accessibility issues early. Ooh, y'all, we're gonna do so well on this part of the test because we're broken records at this point. The following are compiled recommendations by the W3C and other organizations. List of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I feel like that may be actually helpful to say. Ensure the product or services fit for purpose. Design for usability by people with disabilities. Consider a born accessible approach to design. So we talked about that with universal design. Create usable designs and code libraries that help developers code for accessibility. In a perfect world. Use quality assurance tools, methods, and protocols, including accessibility evaluation tools. Human evaluation is critical to ensuring the product or service created is accessible. Perform. Were you going to say something, Dorlin?
No, I'm just emphasizing that the manual testing is critical. What you just said.
Until they find an AI that can actually do it, we got to do it. And hope that they don't find an AI to do it because I want to keep my job.
They can't.
Perform formative, summative, and continuous evaluations. Test throughout the project lifecycle and anytime new content is added or code is updated. Because things break. Include people with disabilities in evaluations. Include people with disabilities in the evaluations. Because me, myself, and I can see as I'm listening to the screen reader. So you know what happens when Dorlin takes my work that I did and I thought I did a thorough job on? She finds new things because she's using it natively. So I think that's a really important Really important point. If there are gaps in your organization's capabilities, use outside expert analysis and consultation until you build up in-house expertise. Get out of here. That was me yelling at my cat, Dorlin, because she's blocking my view.
Figured.
All right.
She's just trying to study hard.
She's so smart. She knows how to code. She knows about accessibility. Like, girl, what else do you know? She's like, I know everything. That's why I'm chilling here trying to show the people who I am. All right. Recruiting and hiring. Recruiting and including people with disabilities. Oh, wow. What are they going to tell us about that? Kathy Co said definitely getting more energy from this part. Yeah, this part, the last two, whatever those last two things we just learned, that they were hurting me badly. But this part is interesting. Recruiting and hiring, including people with disabilities. Include your organization's disability inclusion statements in the job posting on the recruitment pages of your website. Okay. Kathy Code said, can I bring the cat to the exam? I don't know about y'all, but she's coming. Robodom said, impromptu kitty stream. Yeah. She's getting some of the energy too. That's why she's so active right now. She said, I know this part. Posting job openings on disability-focused job boards. Ensure your organization's recruitment websites and all postings are accessible. Let's start there. That'd be probably the first step. Promote your organization as disability-focused job fairs. Ensure your facilities are accessible to applicants and employees and that you have reasonable accommodations, including assistive technology. Educate all employees, especially managers, on working with employees with disabilities. Oh my gosh.
They okay?
Do y'all hear that? My cats are insane. They fight all the time. There's two of them and they're scrapping right now. I'm sure they'll be fine. So the funny thing about the one that you all always see, her name is Raichu, and she loves humans and hates Mewtwo. Like, literally will scratch his face every single day if she just sees him looking at her too hard. She's vicious. And she just looks so cute and she's so nice to me. I'm just like, why can't you just get along with him? He's the best. Anyways. Cat fight interlude. Make it a sound and a badge. Okay. Ensure that hiring managers and supervisors understand their obligation for accessibility and the organizational benefit that an employee with disability brings to the workplace. Wow. Wish that this was all just embedded, right? That'd be nice. I think where we work is the first place where I felt like comfortable enough to disclose disability and feel supported. You know, like other places, I'm just like, I'm not telling anybody. I'm just going to figure out how to do my job. And like, God forbid I say anything about like what my needs are.
I really feel my disability is valued here. You know, like my experience as a disabled person, as a native user of assistive technology, like helped me get, you know, an edge over other applicants when I was applying for the job. So I don't know. Right. Yay for where we were at.
Yeah, it's definitely something special, but we're literally like, our team is comprised of people with disabilities for the most part. So I think they're a lot more sensitive to that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
Recruiting and hiring people with disabilities for digital accessibility skills. So this is very apt. Carefully define the specific skills candidates must have depending on the position's skills may include design using CSS, HTML, and JavaScript, development using frameworks and libraries, accessibility testing using evaluation tools, keyboard testing. This is also good for anyone here who is interested in getting a job in this field. Like, these are some of the things that you'll be doing or expected to know. Accessibility, ability to use tests to use and test with screen readers software, ability to create, test, and remediate digital files such as documents and presentations, knowledge of standards such as the WCAG 2.1, PDF, the UA, post positions on industry job sites, IAP Career Center, Alley Job Digital, accessibility job boards, professional groups, and professional discussion groups and mailing lists. Ooh, we're almost there, y'all. Communication management strategies. So this is marketing or external as well as internal communication must be thoroughly created to ensure that they are accessible and inclusive. Your organization should publish accessibility standards for communications, provide training to communicators on using people first and plain language, ensure the accessibility of any documents published, ensure the accessibility of websites and all the media types all it contains or references, caption and describe videos and other time-based communications, understand and design for how people use assistive technologies, and then capitalize on increased understanding, influence, marketing, and reputational potential that accessible communication provides. So I think the good thing about all the ones that we're reading is once you read over them again, they're just going to make sense because they're kind of common sense. All right, we're on our last two slides. Legal and public relations implications. Universal design and born accessible approaches provide many benefits to organizations beyond increasing the attractiveness of a product or service to a wide audience. Organizations have legal obligations to ensure their products and services and information about them are accessible to people with disabilities. In a large organization, its legal or risk and compliance area should address the legal implications of accessibility. PR should consult with legal or risk and compliance before publishing accessibility information about the organization. In small organizations, people in roles of responsibility should seek guidance from laws and policies on the legal and PR implications. So here are some recommendations. Identify and become familiar with the relevant international, regional, national, and local laws and standards. Assess your organization's legal liability. Ensure the organization has created and is following an ICT accessibility plan. Ensure the ICT accessibility plan includes documentation on how products and services meet accessibility standards. Capitalize on the positive public relations that accessibility brings your organization. All right, last one. Whew.
Almost there.
Man, it's almost 6 o'clock too. I don't know how we did it, but we did it. Procurement processes. Best practices for procuring accessible products and services include verifying product accessibility claims, verifying a vendor's accessibility expertise and capability, requiring product accessibility in the contractual agreements, periodically reviewing a vendor's product accessibility roadmap for adherence, and leveraging the organization's procurement policies and requirements to influence vendors. Holy moly, we did it. The end.
Yes.
Woohoo! Yay!
Wow.
Way to go.
I can't believe
Wow.
it. I kind of want to cry. I feel like I just finished a marathon or something. But
That's
wow.
How many pages was that PDF? That's great.
108. 108.
Plus all the supplemental clicking and links we went through. That's cool.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So, my dear friends, we're at the home stretch in that we've successfully read through 108 pages worth of material, because it's all the PowerPoints that we all did were basically copied and pasted from the body of knowledge. But yeah, everyone's just saying yes, woohoo, congrats, heck yeah, way to go, ladies, woo, yeah, we did it. Okay, so here's the plan. For everyone left, we're gonna talk a little bit about what the upcoming weeks are gonna look like, just so we're all on the same page. And if you're still in the chat, I would love to hear from you all about how you want to do this. The last thing that we really, really need to do is a full review, just going through all the material that we learned and creating the Anki cards that should go along with them, and then doing some active recall as we go through everything. So we're going to do that the next time we meet. I anticipate that this is going to take 2 sessions of 2 hours. I can only assume that that's how long it's going to take minimum. But I'm going to try to go for as long as I can. But I know that 2 hours is usually the limit for me. So all we have to figure out now is when we're going to do that, because next Thursday we won't be available. Another thing we talked about was possibly meeting in Discord casually as a group and just doing our review there, which we can totally do. I think that would be good for when we all have our Anki cards or however we're going to study done, and then we can kind of read and then quiz each other. That would be also a good alternative. But how's everyone feeling? I was curious mostly about when everyone was trying to take the test, and how they feel the study group has gone so far and what you've taken from it. The other parts that I wanted to talk about are there's a group of us who are doing the CPACC and we're just here for the CPACC. And then there's a group of us who are doing both the CPACC and interested in the web accessibility specialization, that version, which is the actual coding and remediation of websites. So obviously this took so much longer than we thought it was going to take, and I want to take the rest of November to focus on the CPACC and support everyone who needs to be supported through the Discord channel and by working together and actually doing reviews. So that's what this whole month is going to be for, I think, until we hit the week of Thanksgiving, and then we'll take a 2-week break. And hopefully by then a lot of us will have taken the test and be able to give you even more information about like what we're doing, and how it went and some recommendations there. From there, I'm wondering if we should start the coding part in December, or if we should just wait until January and start it then. And then instead of starting it formally in December, we can choose that time to do some of the fun streams that we talked about doing, like just getting on here and roasting websites, but also more importantly, using JAWS to go through websites, showing you how to use a screen reader, what that's like. Because me and Dorlin want to get on here and just be able to mess around and like show people what assistive technology actually is and how to use it. So I'm just curious what people think, since you're already here in the chat. And I will also put it in Discord as well. So while y'all talk about that in the chat, us 3 are who will probably be doing this review. And since we can't make it on Thursday and we're here for the next couple minutes, as we say bye, we're trying to figure out which days work for all of us. So Dorlin, I sent you a message before getting off, but were you talking about next Sunday or this Sunday? Because I just realized next Sunday was the day that would work for me, but I feel like you will be gone.
I will be, but I won't be traveling that day. So I'll be streaming from Colorado that day.
Okay, cool.
I mean, yeah, it should work out. I think I wasn't planning on taking my computer, but I'll have something. We can see if we can get it on my phone or something. But any Sunday, we can make it work.
Okay. Because this Sunday, I just know that I'm not going to want to stream probably. And then Hulda, you said
it's only 3 days from now anyway.
Yeah. I think I need a break to let it settle in my brain. Hulda, you're going to be traveling next week.
Right. So next Sunday, not this one, but depending on the time, I'll probably be available. I'll just have a 6-hour difference, but I think I'll be fine. So I can join.
Okay. 6-hour difference forward or back?
Probably
forward.
Okay, good. Because I was like, I think we're going to start at 12.
Then it's great. It works.
Yes. Okay. So I think, friends, we are going to do next week's Sunday as our big review. And the good thing about Sundays and me starting at 12 instead of right after work when I'm dead is we might, even if everyone else can't, I might be able to like go like, if we take breaks, if you're familiar with 100 Devs, remember how we used to do those 6-hour like review sessions? I'm not doing no 6 hours because I'm not a superhuman, but I'm going to just go as long as I can and see if I can make how far I can make it, maybe to 3 hours with a couple breaks in between. All right. So we got that down. Definitely Sunday, we're doing a review. Not this Sunday. Next Sunday is going to be our big review. Remember it. I would like a lot of us to be there. So I'm probably going to be kind of annoying and talking about it on Twitter and the Discord so everyone knows and is aware. Because I think the more of us participate in the chat, the more beneficial it'll be. And then I will either do another one that upcoming Thursday to finish up the review, or we'll just finish it in the Discord. We'll see how it goes and how we feel. All right, so now I am going to read some of the messages in the chat so we can all come together and make some decisions. And the cat is back, of course. So, oops, I should change this to this screen so that we can actually see each other better. Okay, and Dorlin, you're sitting in a dark room.
Oh, am I? I guess the lights went out outside.
It's kind of dark outside, yeah. I don't know. I was just letting you know. We don't need to see you. And we can kind of see you, just a little dark. Okay, so I just think about you saying, like Tank is like, yo, turn the lights on, miss.
It's so true. When we get up in the mornings, it's so dark right now that he just like stands at the top of the stairs until I turn on the light. Like he's learned his lesson.
All right. So CJ Dream said, I think I'm going to take the course in early December. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if I do the same, but I'm going to try to take it late November. Kathy Code said, I think reviews are going to be good, learned so much, but need time to process everything. Yeah, I think if we give ourselves till Sunday, like to actually read a little bit on our own, brush up, then we can kind of quiz each other and make our Anki cards together on Sunday. So Sunday is going to be about making the cards and then reviewing as we go along. So it might take a little bit longer. That's why I was like, I don't know if it's going to take one go. It might take a couple goes for us to finish up. But by the end of it, you should be definitely ready. Kathy Code said maybe January, since December is holiday season and people might be more busy. This is regarding doing the WAS, the web accessibility specialization, and the coding part. I agree. I think we're just going to keep December light, and whoever wants to join us to talk about accessibility and mess around and have a good time as accessibility family can come through for those, and those will just be fun streams. I'm actually really looking forward to having some fun streams where we're not learning coding, because coding makes my head explode. Sinotech said, roasted websites. Yeah, we'll be roasting some websites. We have a list, actually. I have been creating a list of websites that I want to roast the ish out of. So stay tuned, because y'all know I love to roast. I love a good roast. Robodom said, for those of us not taking the CPACC cert as of right now anyway, could we still attend the sessions discussing the coding part for web accessibility? Of course, you can attend anything you want. Not everyone here is taking any of these certifications. A lot of people are just coming to learn about accessibility, and we're going to have a lot of new people joining us once we start the coding part, because that's what most people follow me for. And we are going to have a lot of very, very cool guests co-streaming with us and teaching us, because y'all know I'm not very strong when it comes to coding. I'm just going to be sitting back and letting everyone talk about that. I'm really excited about it. Robodom said, would love to learn more about what's going underneath the hood. Yes, this will be the perfect time to learn, especially if you're working in web accessibility already. You will become so much more knowledgeable and marketable if you know what the code's doing, or you have some idea of that. So even if you're not a coder and you don't want to code, it still is really cool to know what you're testing, right? Because right now, when me and Dorlin are doing testing, we're not really, we're not doing anything with the code, but we can look at something and understand what may be going on and why it's behaving the way it is, just because we have a basic understanding of web development. So this will go even further into that and showing you like how to make things accessible rather than like just testing for it. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. Sinotex said I was going to say 6 hours is crazy. Thank goodness it's 6 hours ahead, because that would be 6 p.m. and a good time for studying. Sinotex said no anime mouse pad will save those wrists dead. CJ Dream said need time to study the laws more. You know what? We heard from some little birdies in the Discord group that the laws are not a huge part of the test. And
also within the CPACC body of knowledge, when it says how the test is made up, it was like 40% was for the disabilities and like the assistive technologies and disability etiquette. 40% was for universal design and learning. And then 20% is on the laws and regulations and all the other stuff we covered at the end of today.
Right.
So it's a smaller percentage too.
A pretty small percentage, and the largest percentage is the largest percentages are the parts where we took our sweet time getting through it and we added lots of extra bits. So even if you want to just rewatch some of the streams, because that's how I've been like kind of learning myself. Me and Dorlin, we just rewatch the streams. I rewatch it so I can listen to how the sound sounds, even though I can't change anything after the fact. But I end up just listening to it, and it's super helpful just to hear the information again. So some of the ones to revisit would be the first one we did, where we were talking about, I think it might have been week 1, when we were talking about the actual disabilities and the assistive technologies. That's going to probably be huge. And then disability etiquette, just like understanding that. All right, let's see. CJ Dreams has to get going. Sinotech said, you're a great dev. You don't know how great of a dev I am. I'm just like a faker. I'm telling y'all, I don't really know anything. I know like the most basic of basic. It's embarrassing, but I'm gonna be good. It's gonna be great. Sinotech said it would have been interesting if the laws were an emphasis, because laws change all the time. Yeah, and they're different everywhere. Yeah, so that's what was interesting about learning the laws, just learning how much the EU is kicking our butts when it comes to law. This is the disability laws for sure. Okay, to close, thank you everybody for hanging out with us for this. What week is this? Week 7? Week 6? I think it might be week 7. I'm not even sure. I think it is. Yeah, I think this is week 7. So we've done 7 weeks, 2.5 hours-ish about of streams. Oh my gosh, y'all. Please get out. Jeez, they're like, they obviously need some attention, so I'm gonna get off of here and give it to them. Thank y'all for hanging out. I'm like distracted now because all I can hear is growling in the background. We'll be back on Sunday, and I'll make a flyer or something. I don't know, so everyone remembers, but I hope that everyone joins us. It's gonna be a good time. All right, see you everybody. We're out of here.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, RoboDom. Robo said, thanks for the stream. Appreciate you, Robo. Mm-hmm. And for all the insightful content. Oh, thank you. Sinotech said, bye. RoboDom, bye. Kathy Codes, bye. Thank you. THC, thanks. All right, y'all. We out.